A new song by the Beatles has been released this morning.
I know it's true.
It's the last song that my dad and Paul and George and Ringo will get to make together.
And if I make it through.
Well, Now and Then is 5 decades in the making. It began as a John Lennon vocal demo recorded in 1978. Paul, George, and Ringo then worked on the song in 1995, but it remained unfinished. But the band and their engineers used state-of-the-art technology to separate the vocals from the piano so the remaining band members could record their parts over the old vocals. It's the first new song released by the Beatles since 1996. And for more on this, we are joined by music journalist and historian Alan Cross. Always great to speak with you, Alan. It's good to see you. I know you had a chance to finally listen to it. It was released at 10 a.m. What do you think?
It's a Beatles song. It's going to take a couple of listens because no matter how good it is, it's not going to live up to all the hype. I mean, this is the Beatles. So you're going to be comparing this song to every single great Beatles song ever written. Early reactions, and I've been monitoring this, have been generally quite good. It's a bit spine-tingling when you consider that these are the 4 Beatles that have not been together as a band since 1970, and to hear them all together one last time, or what we think will be one last time, is pretty exciting. The technology, which was spearheaded by Peter Jackson, the guy who directed the Get Back video, Get Back documentary, is really outstanding. John recorded this demo in 1978 at a piano in the Dakota on a boombox, and there was some kind of weird electronic interference, like a buzz from the lights or something. The piano was way in the background. They did try, Paul, George, and Ringo did try to record this song in the 1990s for the anthology section collection, but the music was just unsalvageable with the technology available to them at the time. Now that Peter Jackson has this incredible AI isolation technology, they've brought it back to life. It does sound like the Beatles working together, although I will say one thing is that it's 21st century slick in terms of its audio production. And when we listen to the Beatles, there's always that old school 1960s recording technology that permeates everything that they do. So you kind of got to get over the fact that it sounds like something that could have been recorded yesterday instead of something in 1967.
I'm glad you asked that because I wanted to talk to you about the sonic sound to this track, because generally the Beatles recorded things live together. They were able to be in the same room. They were also recording during the analog era, and now we're in this technology, we're using not only auto-tune, but a number of other technologies to I guess, sharpen and polish music. So I was curious. I mean, given the fact that this doesn't necessarily have the same kind of vibe, do you think fans are going to like this for the most part?
Again, Beatles fans are going to absorb it and take it in, but there will be an adjustment. The Beatles recorded in mono all the way through the White Album in 1968. Their only 8-track recording was Abbey Road in 1969. So, look, when you're dealing with the Beatles, everything has to be superlative. And it is, it's going to be interesting to hear what everybody else has to say. On first listen, I liked it. Let's see how it ages.
I'm curious because this began as a John Lennon vocal demo. Do we know whether or not this was destined to be a Beatles song, or was this destined to be a John Lennon solo song?
We're not entirely sure. Yoko gifted Paul with that demo cassette saying, hey, John wrote these songs before he died. I'm sure he would have liked you to have them. And that's what we ended up with. So not entirely sure. But, towards the end of the 80s, you got the sense that there was a bit of a thaw between John and Paul, and that, maybe, in another universe, John is still alive, and he got together with Paul in 1984, and they recorded some new material. I don't know. But it's, Paul is convinced, and if you've seen the short film, Paul is convinced that John would have wanted this to happen. And who knew John better than Paul? So great.
Well, I'm sure there are many Beatles fans super excited to hear this new track. And listen, they're legends, and I think everyone welcomes more music from the Beatles. Alan Cross, always great to chat. Thanks for joining us.
You bet.